of the streams, the taro patch and the rice patch owners. They're the ones that needed the water. So it seems simple to me to just say, well, neither of you is entitled to all of that water. It's the people down below, the taro patch owners and the rice patch owners.
It's elegantly simple. And the dean of the law school, which is named after you, Avi Soifer, said, imagine, very complicated filings going on for years, big battle, and you said, well, let's take a look at what's happening at the end of the line.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we were a new state, not used to following, just being a follower. We needed to decide for ourselves what was best for our people. And that's how that one came out.
You took some heat over that, but it became a symbol of enlightenment, that people said, here's a far-thinking guy using the past to build on the future.
Well, of course I'm glad to hear you say that. And I thought it was right. There was never any question in my own mind.
William S. Richardson says that as lieutenant governor, he never asked for or lobbied for the Chief Justice job with his boss, Governor Burns. But his wife Amy had something to say when the governor picked up the phone and asked her about the prospect.
And when he said, "What's this? I hear about your husband being the Chief Justice," and he was silent after that. She gave him the works on that. She didn't want me in politics anymore. And I'm sure she said to him, that would be great. He'd be out of politics if you got him as Chief Justice.
Not so fast. Richardson moved directly from the lieutenant governor's office into leadership of the state's highest court. Critics would say that as head of the judiciary, Richardson never did shake off his political ties, remaining close to the governor and other politicians and power brokers in town. His term as Chief Justice would end with his own court selecting him for a political plum, trustee of the powerful and wealthy old Bishop estate.
I got to mention one decision that your Supreme Court made that was criticized and that you were a part of. You were this very popular Chief Justice who was retiring, and your court appointed you a Bishop Estate trustee. In fact, you took office a couple days after you left the CJ position. I mean, do you think the Supreme Court had any business really picking Bishop Estate trustees?
Well, I think they should, because the Supreme Court seemed to be the best arbiter.
And they gave you a term that was longer than the previously mandated term. You got to serve past 70, which was the retirement age then.
Well, yeah, the state retirement is 70, but that doesn't mean that they had to follow that. 70 is an arbitrary figure in a way.
You got very involved in the Democratic Revolution of 1954, played a key role and became Hawaii Democratic Party chair. But I've heard you refer to yourself as the token Hawaiian among that core group. Was that a joke, or were you serious?
I don't know whether, perhaps I was a token Hawaiian, but that's not altogether true. There were other Hawaiians that were in leadership roles. I can't remember all the names now, but it was a great group that was led by Governor Burns, who was firstly a nobody to speak of, but he had been a police captain and wanted to organize the party. And we met every Friday for lunch. And when the boys that went off to law school after the war came back, well, Governor Burns and I went and picked them up and got them interested in the Democratic Party. And before we knew it, we had enough to take over the Democratic Party, and in the end, I suppose the governorship.
And you became lieutenant governor.
Yes, and from that, I guess he catapulted me into the Chief Justiceship, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
I notice you're always ending up in these leadership or achievement positions, and you always say, I don't know how that happened, I just kind of went along.
Well, that's what happened. I went along. I mean, I enjoyed the work, and I didn't mind being in a minority party at that time. I thought I was doing some good, and I thought I was doing something that would have a lasting effect. I thought I was doing something that might improve the well-being of all of the people of my age in Hawaii, and I think it turned out that way. I thought I could help.
You've told me that your favorite job in the world has been CJ. What do you see as your legacy in that position? I mean, clearly, your court made a number of benchmark rulings, but what do you think is the most important?
Well, I think I did the best I could to get the old Hawaiian way merged in with the American and the Commonwealth system of the past. The beaches, of course, I'm proud of that, and handling cases that involved volcanic action that no place else in our country we've had. So
Now there's a law school named for you. The only law school in Hawaii is named after you.
well, I must say I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of it because it means that some people that wouldn't have had a chance to go to law school now have that opportunity.
At age 89, as I speak, the CJ is a regular at the William S. Richardson School of Law, where he has an office and enjoys talking with the students. He says they don't argue with him, but he respects different ideas, and anyway, it's their future to shape now. Mahalo to CJ Richardson for sharing stories with us on Long Story Short. I'm Leslie Wilcox of PBS Hawaii. Ahui ho kako.
Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox is produced in HD by PBS Hawaii with Sony technology. High definition. It's in Sony's DNA.
My wife lived on the same street, as a matter of fact.
I heard a story she used to tell about meeting you. I recall her saying that she met you when she was watering the yard and you were walking by from the...
Yes, she'd either be watering the yard or playing the piano.
And she told people, go water your yard. You never know what might happen.
She did say that jokingly, but
So, childhood sweethearts.
I suppose you could put it that way. She was a neighbor, 2 blocks away, but she went to that other school. She went to Puno, and I went to Roosevelt.